Instagram.
All right, let's go live on Facebook.
We're giving an opportunity for the Instagram fam to check out this podcast live behind the scenes. If you don't know, now you know. And you won't be able to see Miss Gail Zintek, but you can certainly hear her as I turn up my volume.
Well, isn't that what podcasting is all about? Listening.
Yes, it should be. But you know what? We take it a step above. We go above and beyond. We take it to the next level. And what we do is we say, hey, you can listen all you want, but wouldn't you like to watch us too?
Yeah. You know, because I just hung up some Christmas cards. It's the holiday season. And yeah, just decorating Flo and making her look so fancy for the holidays. Welcome to A Party at the Summit podcast with Coach Steve Trzek.
And Coach Gail Zintek, as we're going live here on this Thursday. You can catch us every Thursday at 11:11 Eastern Standard Time, where we just choose to show up and inspire and encourage and provoke you into the greatest change and transformation that you possibly can experience. So, Gail, we've been doing this now for 26 weeks strong. However, it is episode 25 because we did miss 1 week. So, you know, you weren't up to the par quite.
No, you know, there's this thing called COVID going around and, you know, it's just no joke. So take a week, rest, recuperate, recover, and let's go.
Let's go. All right. So we're going to be discussing today strategies. I don't want to call them strategies. Maybe they're just insight on how to deliver greater happiness in your life. Because if there's one thing I know, correct me if I'm wrong, Gail, but it doesn't matter what we're seeking. It doesn't matter what we're all after something. We're after being healthier. We're after greater relationships. We want, you know, better career opportunities, whatever those things are. We just want to be happier. We want more joy in our life. We want to have more bliss. We want to have greater peace of mind, knowing that we are pursuing or even attracting what we are designed to be attracting in our life. So we're talking about today, episode 3, the third installment of a 3-part series. Our intention is to keep this about 22 minutes. We've always tried to keep our podcast and our conversation about 22 minutes long. So thanks for staying with us. And I did a live this morning. Actually, it wasn't a live, it was recorded. The reason why I do recorded, by the way, instead of live is because I can't save the live so I can share them in other places. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to have a thought or a conversation with myself, why not record it so that I can share it in other places and bring more value to other people? And it's been greatly appreciated to the best of my understanding and to the best of my knowledge. So I asked a question because I was really inquisitive, and it ties directly and coincides exactly what we've been talking about for the last 3 weeks now is, do you know what makes you happy? Are you happy? And I know that it can be defined in so many different ways, but I think when you ask that question to somebody, there's a very distinct answer. It's very binary. It's like, yes, I am, or no, I'm not. Very few people are like, well, kinda. That just means you're not. This means like, it's a way of you trying to bring like validity to the fact, like, well, I'm not, but let me give some reasons why I should be. And we just want to be able to provide that for you here today and give you some proven ways of being that are going to help that. Let's start here, Gail, and I'll give you the floor. Let's do a recap just to keep up to speed where we are now. What were the first 7 ways of being? And then we're going to discuss and encapsulate the last 3 today.
All right. Well, in week 1, we discussed be unique, which is really celebrating your uniqueness and the wins while you're at it. And I need to pause here because you just did an amazing video about completing your year with wins and losses, identifying your wins and losses in your life, because when you identify those, and let's look at the losses, if you can extract a lesson, automatically become a win because it's awareness that you have to something. So be unique, celebrate your uniqueness. Number 2 was be more loving. The more you express love and appreciation to yourself first is the extent that you can express it to other people. And so that helps us to find the happiness within ourselves. Be integral. Be integral with your word. Be honest with the people in your life, but be honest with you and the promises you make to yourself each and every day. Number 4, be kind. What do we have to say about that? You know, kindness comes around, goes around. What comes around goes around. And so if you're kind to others, kindness comes back to you. And we discuss be kind to unkind people because they're the ones that need it the most. So be beautiful. Celebrate the beauty that is within you. We all are beautiful. God created us. That's my belief, in his image. And I believe that we are beautiful from the very inside out. We just sometimes have to look in inwardly and find that. So
Gail, let me just put an exclamation mark on that, because it's like, well, what does that mean? Be beautiful. If I be beautiful, then I'm going to be happy. Well, essentially, yes, because when you know the beauty in yourself, and it's not coming from a vain place or being conceited, it's just from being confident. Like, I'm just a beautiful person. And when I become beautiful inside, I start finding more things outside that are beautiful because I'm a reflection of who I am inside. And if you are finding more things that are loving and caring and beautiful and generous, like, doesn't that make you happy? Mm-hmm. So you're not seeking the external things. And I'll talk about that a little bit here, because I think that's going to be a great way to put like that stamp to this foundation. But just consider that. I mean, being unique, be more loving, be more integral, be kind. So the ways of being are critical and essential in this conversation, because it's happiness is an inside job.
And it's not about doing more. It's about being more of these things. If you're looking for that, if you're looking for more happiness in your life, creating the happiness within, be moving. I'm so grateful that I chose to start moving a couple years ago, a little less than a couple years ago, but it's made a huge difference in my life, which leads to the next one about be growing, not being stagnant, not be sitting still, always be growing, not just in your movement of your body, but in your mind, like the things that you listen to. Welcome to the replay. For those of you who are catching this, and
if you're just catching on here, welcome to the replay.
You are adding to the growth within through what you put into your mind and the thoughts that you think. So those were our first 7 characteristics of being more happy, Steve.
And if you missed those 2 first episodes we did, which were last week and the week prior, go to Coach Gail's Intex page on Facebook, and you'll be able to find those recordings, because we're doing this live on Facebook right now. Also, while recording this, so that it could be uploaded to YouTube. Gail, what's your YouTube page so people can follow you?
Well, the YouTube page is A Party at the Summit podcast, A Party at the Summit. So search that out on YouTube, subscribe to it, and all of them in sequential order are there for your viewing and listening enjoyment.
And I believe there's some pretty tremendous show notes involved in that as well.
Yes. There is intriguing show. Like, if you want to know, like, what does that title mean? Just look at the show notes. Steve's an amazing show note taker. If you come across some episodes that are a little lacking, that's where I took over. And I don't apologize for it. I just get it done. So anyway, let's move on to the last 3 characteristics that we're going to be talking about today to create and find greater happiness within. And those are being playful. Steve, you are one of the most playful people I know. Even on your live videos, like, you sing songs to us, and, you're always like playful with your children. And so talk to us about being more playful.
It's just, once I realized and I accepted the fact that people are going to like me for who I am or for who I'm not, I just decided, hey.
Oh no. Did we freeze?
No, we're not frozen.
Oh, there. It was a moment of like, okay,
No, I think we're all set, but it really unlocked for me when I just made a decision to say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to be authentically me. I mean, it goes back to being unique, the first characteristic, the first way of being. And so I just want to show up as my authentic self. And part of that is just being silly, and just whatever comes to my mind, it's going to come out. And I think that people are fearful of that. There's two fears that come with that. It's the inadequacy and it's abandonment. And we're not going to talk about that here, but when you can say, me being authentic and just saying what I want to say, when I want to say it, or do what I want to do when I want to do it, and it comes off silly, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody cares. People say like, well, and I learned this many years ago when, I would think that people were so concerned about what I was thinking what they were thinking about me. Like, they're worried about what I'm saying, what I'm doing, how I'm acting, how I'm behaving. But it wasn't until I realized that they're not really concerned about like what I'm doing. They're more concerned about what I'm thinking about them. So just being playful. So I'll show up anywhere and just be myself. And, people could, get irritated with it, or they could just embrace it and say, you know what, that's kind of fun.
Well, and it's how it makes you feel, Steve. Like you're out to attract people that are more like you. I'm out to attract people that resonate with who I am. There's a lot of people that when you turn up the volume on who you truly are and you feel great and authentic about it, you are going to push some people away, but you're going to draw in those people that are like you, that mirror you. And what a great existence that is, to hang around people that you have fun with.
Yeah. Are you not happier when you're attracting the people that have the same values, characteristics, and qualities that you do by you being authentic? And then you're also retracting those that don't. The ones that are going to bring some negative energy into your life, the ones that are going to be the Debbie Downers, those that just have they can find anything negative in any situation. You're repelling those people by you just being playful and fun and just being who you are.
The next one, number 9, is be forgiving. And forgiveness will set you free. If there's somebody in your life right now that you need to forgive, then I suggest that you just put some time, energy, and attention to it. Last night, Steve and I were kind of winding down for the evening, and I got a text message from my son, and it was a really reflective one for him. He was going back to when he was 5 or 6 years old with a memory. And as he shared that memory, like, part of my heart just kind of sank, because I said, if I could go back to when you were 5 or 6, which, by the way, was about 36 years ago, I would embrace that little boy, and I would nurture that little boy. Because see, I was a young mom when he was my 3rd child, and I was about 27 when he was 5 or 6. So I was young in raising my family. And oftentimes, I know there's other moms out there right now that you regret what happened raising your children. And if you could just go back and change it, you can't. So forgive yourself. I've had to forgive myself for the missteps I took as a young mom. And, Jordan and I went on in our text messaging last night, and it was very heartwarming. I went to bed very happy inside that I had an interaction with my son and his reflection of childhood. So I say that, forgive yourself. If there's some long-term negative emotions that you have around that.
Yeah. The question that I'll often ask a client or somebody that I'm working through with a situation or a challenge or a problem is, we'll talk about forgiveness, and we'll talk about the energy that it provides. Are you protecting your energy, and how we do that? And I'll say, well, who are 3 people that come to mind that you really need to provide some forgiveness for? And they'll think about it for a few seconds. They already know who it is. And then they'll give off 3 people. Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a sibling. It could be a coworker. It could be somebody that they have a grudge with, that they just have this built up emotion inside. But then when we go over those those individuals of who they really need to forgive, how often do we put ourselves on that list? And you exquisitely just described how liberating that is and how that can make us happy, is that forgiving ourselves. And so we have we've been through these experiences, and you talked about, Gail, I put together a training. It's a 25-minute training. If you haven't seen it yet, if you're watching this or listening to this, reach out to me, reach out to Gail. I'll send you the opt-in link. You want to watch this video. You want to watch and experience this training before 2022. Don't wait until 2022 to start really being prepared in how you're going to plan and execute and set sustainable goals for yourself that you're actually going to hit this year or the next year ahead. We've all been through letdowns. We've all been through disappointments. We've all made mistakes. But when you really sit there and say, all right, am I going to take the same emotions, the same feelings, the same regrets that I have and keep them bottled up inside or consider them losses? And I'm going to take that shit with me into next year. It doesn't matter what your goal that you're going to set. You haven't altered or changed or manipulated or enhanced your identity, which is your self-image. And most people don't see it that way. So once we can actually start making an elevated shift in who or what we feel we're worth and what we deserve through our identity and the beliefs and the stories that we tell ourselves, you're going to continue living the same process next year, I assure you, because you did that in the beginning of 2021. You did that in the beginning of 2019, and now's the time to make a real change. But it starts from the inside out, not the outside, waiting for all the external circumstances and situations to change for you to make a decision to be like, all right, well, when I know what I should know, when I start having the things that other people are having, when my body is right, when my finances are right, when this, and this is all in alignment with the stars, then I'll be happy. How has that worked out for you so far? Because the pursuit of chasing happiness, think about this. The pursuit of chasing happiness is a fallacy. It's a fallacy because what's going to happen? You set this milestone, you set this bar and say, hey, when I get to this point, I'm going to be happy. I'll be blissful. I'm going to be at peace with myself and my situation. But guess what? What happens when you hit that milestone or you hit that bar chasing that happiness? The bar moves, the milestone moves. So you're in a constant state of chasing that elusiveness of being happy, when happiness is a state. It's a state of mind. So when you start being these things, and in particular, we're talking about being playful and being forgiving, how much more efficient is the quality of our life? Because no matter what happens in our environment, we've already made a real decision just to be happy. And how do you know you made a real decision? Because you take immediate action on this. You might be listening to this podcast or our voices and our conversation being like, gosh, that makes a lot of sense. And anybody with a prefrontal cortex that's listening to this, which everybody does, it's going to make logical sense within a matter of 15 seconds. They're like, oh, that makes sense to me. When I'm being moving, I'm growing, when I'm being beautiful, like that is a catalyst for being happy. So to sort of put an exclamation mark again on this being forgiving, you have to make a choice and a decision just to forgive yourself from all the letdowns, all the losses, all the disappointments that you've had. And you just need to let it go. Liberate yourself. Just let it go. Clear the canvas. You'll know what I'm talking about when you watch the video. Clear the canvas. Let the rocks out of the backpack. Lighten your load. Just free yourself from yourself. Right. Like that's what this is about. Real transformation from the inside out. And that'll be another That'll be another episode.
Well, it brings us to the final exclamation mark, number 10, of being courageous. You just described courage, Steve, in your monologue of what forgiving yourself and being is. It's being courageous. It's stepping outside of your comfort zone, experiencing new things in life, overcoming adversity, taking risks, because it'll elevate your confidence. When you step outside of your comfort zone and you rock that moment, what does it do for you? It elevates your confidence and it allows you to go, wow, if I can do this, what else can I do? What else can I do? Be courageous in looking at change, like all of these things, all 10 of these characteristics and ways of being. You've heard them today. And which one of those needs the most work? Like you've heard all 10 of them today. Mm-hmm. One of them, or maybe several of them, have stuck out to you. And those are the ones you want to work on. Steve and I are here. We're here for conversation. We're here to help you, provoke you to free yourself from yourself. That's what it's all about.
Amen. Amen. And when I hear of be courageous, the first word that popped into my mind, outside of writing this a year ago, because we're actually recapitulating this from a year ago when it came across our memory, and we're like, gosh, what a great memory. What a great reminder for 10 ways of being happy. And it's all internal. Like these are all within our control. These have nothing to do with external factors. The first word that popped in mind when I heard, and I was writing this, be courageous, again, for the second time a year later, was being integral. Oftentimes, just being courageous is honoring your own word to yourself, being self-integral. Because again, there's a sense of fear oftentimes when we say we're going to do something, and that behavior or action or doing process puts them in an uncomfortable situation. It takes them out of their comfort zone. Being out of your comfort zone is a stage of courageousness. So be integral. Do the things you tell yourself you're going to do when you're going to do them. And for the personal aspect is when nobody else is watching. Be personally integral. And we talk about that in another episode. You can find that on the YouTube channel because we have them all titled.
That's right.
So let's leave it there. I would love to know, as you said, Gail, which of these most resonated, which one is deserving of your attention the most that you are willing to lean into so that you can choose to expand the quality of your life, whatever it is, in whatever aspect. You have the power to change, to make the rest of your life the best of your life.
And I'm going to close with this because this is what you wrote at the beginning of these 10. It's like happiness is the sum of the quality of emotions that you experience on a daily basis. I'm chuckling because Steve's just being silly. He's being happy. He's being fun. When you have better control of your thoughts leading to your emotions you experience, you will experience greater happiness more frequently, which is what we all want. We all want to experience happiness more frequently. Even when you're sitting by yourself in a room, that's where you should be the happiest.
And you can just smile. Just smile. All right, we'll make it a happier day worth repeating.
Let's go.
I'm out. Thanks for joining us.
We're out.